Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Added Time FPL, the number one fantasy Premier League football podcast with two South Africans, one in Canada and one in the United Kingdom. If you're listening or watching for the first time, we'd just like to say welcome and that we hope that you have a good time with us today. If you haven't already, subscribe, follow us on Spotify as well, because I think we're doing some good content. But we're back with episode 10, leading up to Gameweek 10. We're going to just talk about what happened last week. We're not going to talk about anything that happened tonight because it doesn't concern us whatsoever. There's no reason why I'm not wearing a Chelsea shirt. We're just going to move right along and jump into today's episode. How's it, Mike?
Happy Halloween to all those listeners out there, all those in the UK and Canada and anywhere else you celebrate Halloween. Not so much back home in South Africa, but it is Halloween. And I've seen some scary shit. This last week, I can tell you that the Grim Reaper came for Erik ten Hag. And he was sacked.
Take that side.
So
done.
Which again, I know you might be thinking, what does this have to do with United? What does it have to do with fantasy? It does. Because the first thing I thought to myself is, I need to bring in a United defender or maybe even Fernandes because the new manager bounce is a thing. And we just saw it tonight because Leicester got beaten. What is 5-2? 5-1, 5-2?
Yeah, 2 goals for Bruno Fernandes. A goal for Casemiro. He might have scored 2.
2 goals, Casemiro, yeah. Garnacho
so,
with the first one.
There you go.
So keep an eye on United players. For me personally, I've been keeping my eye on Diogo Dalot, who's been doing so good in a defensive point of view. After this Chelsea game, he's got 3 easy fixtures: Leicester, Ipswich, and Everton. So I've got my eye on Diogo Dalot because also I've been looking at Amarim and I've been seeing him play with 3 at the back, which means wing backs. And if Dalot is that wing back, we've got an attacking and defensive option from United.
Just for those who don't know, Amaron is the current Sporting manager who's rumored and linked with United quite heavily. Probably going to happen. So
it's pretty much almost semi-confirmed.
Yeah. Does that mean Gyökeres comes to United? Who knows? Going to be a race because I know Chelsea was linked with him as well. So we'll have to see.
I really think it does. I think it does. Yeah. I think it comes with him. It comes in January or something.
From an FPL aspect, is exciting because Gyökeres is a very good striker. So it will be. We'll see.
Is he Greek?
His price. Swedish.
He's Swedish. Wow. Okay.
Him versus Isak.
Yeah.
There you go.
Another nightmare of an FPL week, and it wasn't horrible, but it's just there were so many late comebacks in that game. This last week, it was insane, like twists and turns of a horror movie. I mean, if you were watching the Arsenal-Liverpool game, and Liverpool tied that up with Mohamed Salah right at the end, you had Spurs losing to Crystal Palace. You had Brighton. Nate. Did you? I don't know if you saw, but I've never seen anything like this. Brighton went from a 4-on-1. A 4-on-1.
No,
okay?
Brighton are different this season, bro. Like, seriously. They're feeding Welbeck something.
No, but they were winning the game, and they had 4 attackers versus the goalkeeper and 1 defender. It was a 4-on-1 situation. The defender nicks the ball, passes it upfield, Cuhna takes it and scores. And draws the game. It was insane. So I mean, I from an FPL perspective, it was crazy, and I'm loving watching Brentford get that late winner. Mbuemo, Wolves, Brighton. Those
Mbuemo
3
really
teams.
hauling at the end though, because we were questioning him mid-game. We were WhatsApping and we're like, "Is he worth?" And then he comes and gets the brace. So fair play. Still worth.
Yeah, those 3 teams: Brentford, Brighton, and Wolves. There's goals in those teams.
Yeah,
there's goals. And then, like a horror movie, we're sitting there biting our nails, hoping that Haaland scores a hat-trick. And what does he do?
Scores 1.
Disappoints. That's what he does. But you, we'll talk about it later, but you didn't move out Saka like the rest of us, and you were rewarded. And if any of you out there haven't seen Saka's goal, it's so good.
Yeah, no,
he powers his way.
For sure, dude.
He powers his way into the box and then shoots it direct, strong. Like, he's really got that right wing down. I think he's the best right winger in the him and Salah are the 2 best right wingers in the Premier League.
Currently, though, form wise, because I'm gonna say a quick controversial topic. Salah's goal was a bit like it was just a tap in. You know what I mean? Like, it could have not happened. He could have not done anything, and he's been a bit quiet recently.
He's been rubbish. He did nothing that whole game. He gets a tap in the last 5 minutes,
and he gets
he's
3
got all the bonus points and everything.
What are you doing? Fix your system.
So, I mean, Saka and Salah shine. Haaland disappoints. It's just been an all-round crazy weekend. But we got some defender points this week. City kept a clean sheet. Nori got that goal.
That's what I wanted to say. We touched on bringing in Nori from Wolves just because of the offensive threat. And I mean, sure, he blanked against Man City, right? But I mean, he got a goal against Liverpool, he got a goal against Brentford, and now he's got a goal against Brighton. Like, the defensive threat is clear, the attacking threat from the defender is clearly there. So it's definitely someone to look at to move into your team as that budget option to maybe replace Konsa, who keeps bottling clean sheets, which happened again last week in the 90th flippin' minute. How many times do I have to just concede 6 points from this man? Not only him, freaking Robinson, the other budget defender, also in the 90th freaking minute, bottles the clean sheet. So it's very annoying for me. So like I missed out on 12 points, so I was quite gutted. But yeah.
Every time Aston Villa concede a late goal and Konsa loses his 6 points, I just send a sneaky picture today.
It's so annoying because the people that own Luca Dean, kept the clean sheet because he came off of 70 minutes. So those people are hauling. But me that have Konsa's not getting points.
Yeah, I like Luca Dean. But let's get to the big topic of the week. Yeah. The one that's causing a stir around the internet. Everyone around the world is asking them the biggest question of FPL this season. Should you drop Erling Haaland? Nate, you said some controversial things to me this weekend. You made me rethink my life. Tell me why were you hinting that that a possible dropping Haaland might be the way forward?
So we had a chat about this and we broke it down. And statistically speaking, if you dropped Haaland or didn't have Haaland over the last, let's say 4 weeks, okay? Over the last 4 weeks, Haaland blanks twice, 3 times, blanks 3 times, to come back and scores a goal. So that's 2, 2, 2, 2, and a 6. Great. If you didn't have Haaland and had the 2 budget options, which would be the popular picks in Chris Wood or Jackson or Welbeck, right? I would say those 3. Combine those through the last 4 weeks and Salah in your team because you can afford him with the Haaland money, they outscore Haaland quite a bit. We worked it out even further to then say if Haaland had to score a hat-trick this week, guess what? In the last 5 weeks after this hat-trick, Chris Wood still outscores him by 5 points. So is 15.4 million worth a hat-trick every 3 to 4 weeks? I don't know.
And I agreed with you on this in that probability-wise, yes, while Haaland is more likely to score a goal, he is only one player. But by improving your team with 4 to 5 players who have a good chance of scoring, not as good as Haaland, but a higher probability, the probability of getting a haul. Think about it. Have you got Haaland over and having Mbuemo because you don't have enough money? He's hauled. Have you not got Palmer? He's hauled. The consistency of Saka and Salah.
You don't have Saka.
No. Yeah. You know, these players are there and thereabout, and there's more probability of shifting the points between those players than holding one player that's had like really bad form. And it's not easy. You can't just take Haaland out because there's no switch up front.
And this
you
can't go alternate, yeah.
There's no Haaland out for Salah because Salah's in the midfield. There's no striker at Haaland's price point or nearby. There's no Harry Kane.
Yeah.
If Harry Kane was playing, you could just go, yeah, I'll take out Haaland and bring in Harry Kane. But there's no one.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the other side of the debate coin. I would say the devil's advocate side is, for starters, Haaland is still 73% owned, right? That's still an insane amount of managers. So if you go in without Haaland, yes, you've got probably those 10%ers that don't have him that'll be doing well, but automatically you're out of that majority race. So if Haaland does get a hat-trick, you're missing out of it, number one. Number two, as you say, there's no premium striker at that price point to just say, yeah, Harry Kane, he's playing for Spurs. Maybe if Harry Kane went to United, who knows? Maybe Ten Hag will still have a job. But like Harry Kane up there playing for a premium team, 11 mils, sure, I'll swap him. But like you say, you have to think about it because you have to get rid of a midfield player. And for me, Saka, Palmer, and Mbuemo, like, who do I drop? It's tough. It's a tough decision to make. It's definitely a teaser, a brain thinker. It's definitely a brain
thinker. And on my side, I'm gonna stay with Haaland. And the reason I will stay with Haaland is because I still believe, even though the probability is higher of others scoring, even though Haaland will outscore them this season, the potential of Haaland to get a 5-goal haul
It's
on a
just too,
captainship.
it's just too tasty. It's just too tasty.
Like
And
I'm
yeah.
waiting for it, and every game that goes by that he doesn't, it feels like it's more likely going to happen. And especially when Kevin De Bruyne, my personal feeling after watching City over the last few weeks, I don't choose to watch City. I just watch Match of the Day, and then the City, the it shows you all the goals, the goal rush goals,
and it
while
just so
that game is
happens half
on.
of the goals are Man City.
Yeah. So no, but I mean, like, it shows you one game, but then it moves to the others.
Yeah,
But
okay,
normally
right,
plays
right,
the
right.
City game, and I've watched him play. The problem with Haaland is Foden. Foden is not passing to Haaland. Foden is not. He's playing in the KDB role, but he's not playing like KDB. He's a bit more selfish. He's a bit more driven to score himself or drive the ball and control it at his feet. Whereas KDB's first thought is, I have the ball, run into space, pass it. Whereas Foden's first thought isn't pass
I have
the ball
I
for
run
the
into
assist.
space, I shoot.
He shoots, he looks to pass sideways, and then he wants to pass out to like someone on the wing, and then he runs into the box so that he can get the final touch. It's not helping Haaland. I don't think Haaland and Foden are really worked out how well to play together, but KDB's back after the international break, and Haaland's price is what, 15.4?
15.4.
No, man, how are you going to afford this guy? When you sell him now,
how are
and
you
you
going to
lose
afford to
0.2
take him
million.
out? Like, what are you doing after that? That's the thing. But quickly on that, I wanted to ask you a question, because ever since we plugged Arsenal's defense, they've started conceding goal after goal after goal.
Yeah, it's my fault, because I brought in Gabriel and Raya, and look what happened.
It's true.
Useless.
I mean, if we go back, they're winning games. But if we go back all the way to game week 5 against that City game, the game week 4 was their last clean sheet against Spurs. Game week 5, they concede 2 goals to City. Game week 6, they go and concede 2 goals to Leicester. Game week 7, they go and concede a goal to Southampton. Game week 8, they concede a goal to... They lose, sorry. Clean sheet, by the way. They concede 2 to Bournemouth. And finally, last week, they concede and draw with Liverpool 2 goals. So, what's happening? What do you think's happening? Clearly, they're not as solid as we thought.
Patrice Evra summed it up. He said Arsenal's like Netflix. It's always about the next season. That's what he said, man. Even though he admits United are rubbish at the moment,
crazy.
But he still
That's such a good line, dude.
And I think Arsenal have thrown away their title opportunity. I think they've slipped up. It's gotten to them. They've tried so hard that they tried too hard, and they just missed the mark. And I think it's time to move away from that Arsenal double up, even if you've made that mistake. Because me, Gabriel, injured. I'm waiting to see how long he's going to be out. Without Gabriel and Saliba was coming in, like without both of them, and Arsenal being calm and still trying to get Saka into the team, even though he's not fit. Like, it feels like they don't really have the squad to handle this challenge. And I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea, Aston Villa, and you even knows Brighton somehow sneak up ahead of Arsenal before Christmas.
The question around this topic though is like, what do you do? Do you hold Gabriel? Do you hold Raya? Do you make a move? What would you suggest?
I suggest instead of these big at the back players, I say we move back to our budget defenders. We started this conversation talking about Al-Nouri from Wolves, whose output in attacking terms is insane. And his fixtures coming up are Crystal Palace, Southampton, and then after the international break, Fulham. And then there's just, again, Bournemouth, Everton, West Ham, Ipswich, Leicester, all not winnable games for Wolves, but scoreable games for Wolves. None of those teams are clean sheet queens. They're not going to keep clean sheets. So I would say Alt-Nouri as a budget. Another one that I have a friend named Avation. Shout out to him. He was like, I'm going to bring Keane in. I was like, Avation, don't bring in an Everton defender. They're useless. And literally, they lost a 2-0 lead twice to lose the game. But Keane goes and scores a dramatic goal and hauls 15 points. So I'm looking at players like Keane, 4.2, Face, 4.1, Justin, Lewis at Manchester City to get into them, Alt-Nouri, even Howard Bella scored midweek.
I know, it's so annoying. Like, scoring the Premier League, bro. What are you doing? Give us points. Yeah, no, he did.
So I'm thinking, for me personally, I want Salah, I want Palmer, but I also want to hold Haaland. And the only way to do it is to actually strip your back line and go budget defenders. And my 3 budget defender picks right now would be Alt-Nouri for attacking returns. Lewis, because Manchester City are always involved in attacks. And the third one is Keane, because even though Everton are rubbish at the back, Keane seems to have an eye for goal, and his points are pretty good. And if they ever do find clean sheet form, he'll be with points, and only at 4.2. So I can stack my defense with 4.7, 4.2, and 4.5. And if you put all three of those players in your team from the beginning of the season, you would have a combined about 90 points just out of three defenders,
that's
each costing
under 5,
less than
under 4.6.
under 5. Like at the beginning of the season, it was they both were 4.5, 4.5, and 4.0, and then you would have been 90 points up just with those three cheap defenders. So I'm actually going to be thinking about moving Gabriel out with his injury to Keane, so that I can afford bringing Salah back in. Because I think one thing we proved over the season is Salah is king. He's still the king of fantasy. He's still the consistency king. And if he's playing rubbish and he's scoring points, imagine what's going to happen when he actually starts playing well. And he's rested this week, by the way. Rested in Brighton's midweek game.
Yeah.
So definitely thinking about going small at the back, not big at the back. But you just remind me again why you want to bring Cuhna in as an option. Because, I mean, if you are selling Haaland, he's an option, right?
Yeah, I wanted to say to you, just wanted to chat on the Wolves fixture around that, because I was just having a look at transfer options for me, because I need to sort out Solanke. Boy, oh boy, is this man burning me. He's the new Mbuemo from last season, I'll tell you that. But I, just for those out there, I'm going to stick with him, for those that are wondering, because he's playing Villa at home and then he's got Ipswich at home. So I'm going to give him 2 more weeks, and then it's going to be time to move him on. But Cuhna would be the most obvious one, and Cunha's fixture run is juicy. He's got, up from now until Christmas, he's got only green, except for Fulham, who's rated a 3, which is a grey fixture. 6 of those games are at home as well, which is crazy. So, like Palace, Southampton, Bournemouth, Ipswich, and Everton. So 5, sorry. He's playing at home. Those are all relatively easy fixtures when you consider it, and those are all very weak teams defensively. And he hasn't risen in price at 6.5, and he's still 3% owned. So he's a great differential for those people just looking to pull back into the points to pull ahead to get rid of your Solanke that's been a flop. The problem is, not many people have my problem, and it'll be Welbeck that they'll be weighing up the options with. So, Mike, do you bring in Cuhna for Welbeck, or do you just hold Welbeck? Because he has been playing really well.
Welbeck is so consistent.
You said to me my only mistake this year has been Pedro instead of Welbeck, and I agree with you 100%. It should have been Welbeck.
There was that one international break, and Pedro was coming back late on a flight, and he was a doubt, and you still went with him over Welbeck, and I think that was the one thing that you did wrong, in my opinion. Everything else you did was great. The only thing with Welbeck, he's got Liverpool and Man City, but I promise you, I keep this guy on my bench, and he scores 9 points every week from my bench.
You're going to bring him on this week, and he's not going to score.
I know Liverpool, he might not score this week, but Man City are leaky at the back. Yeah. Welbeck is loyal there. If anything, I would say if you were going to take a chance on it, take him out for the next couple of weeks if you can afford it. But maybe if you bring him back, he might be 6 million.
I think at the start of December, he has a good run of fixtures as well himself.
Yeah, it's just coming back from the international break. He plays Bournemouth, Southampton, Fulham, Leicester, Crystal Palace, West Ham, Brentford. Again, all fixtures you'd expect Brighton to score goals. And both Brighton and Wolves are teams that are playing all-out attack. They do not give a damn about their defense.
They're trying to win by scoring more goals. Like, they're not trying
Which is wonderful to watch.
Yeah.
And wonderful for FPL. So, I think, honestly, if I had the free transfer for the next 2 games, I'd do it.
Okay.
If I didn't have other places, because I think Welbeck against City and Liverpool might find it tougher to score than Cuhna will, but I don't think it's something you have to do. I think you could still sit with Welbeck. And this week I'm probably going to start Welbeck. I'm going to start him. He's not going to be on my bench because I think Liverpool playing midweek, maybe they'll be a little tired. Brighton got beaten by them, not comprehensively, quite a tight game. And Brighton looked good. So I expect some goals from that fixture. And that's what I'm planning on doing. Now I'm bringing on Salah in for Foden. Okay. Obviously, it means Foden scoring 20 points.
Yeah, naturally so.
And I'm trading Gabriel for Keane, which means Keane's going to get injured before the game. But those are the type of things I'm looking at doing this week. And I think what I'm basically saying to you, Nate, is that you can't have Haaland, Palmer, Saka, and Salah. I don't think you can.
No,
Like
it's not possible.
I can't see it working,
No.
which means that one of them has to drop. And right now, for me, it's Saka. I just don't see Arsenal in the same vein of form they were earlier. I know he's doing well, but I think out of those four, out of Palmer, Salah, and Haaland, if I'm keeping all of them in, and even Mbuemo adding to that, I'm dropping Saka.
Yeah,
dropping Saka.
I would agree, and he would probably be my most likely candidate to move out. However, for me, it feels also like a bit of a waste. Like he's just come back from injury and he's scoring. So it's like weigh it up and just hold. Which leads me to my next thing of when in doubt, do nothing. So like I'm pretty tempted just to relax. Don't make a panic move yet. Salah's already risen. So it's not like I'm missing out on anything. I can afford him if he rose by 2 just because of how high Haaland is. So my plan is actually to just hold my team again, bank another transfer, end up with 3 transfers.
If you go into the international break with 3 transfers, you are going to come out of that with another mini wild card and you can set yourself up pretty good.
Which is what I'm leaning more towards now. Just because I don't know what I want to do. Like, I don't know what's the right move. So I figured just stick to the plan. You wanted to buy Solanke for the next 3 or 4 weeks. Still got 2 more weeks left. Haaland is majority owned. His price isn't dropping. Salah's already risen. Like, Saka's fit. It's fine. Like, don't panic. Stick to the plan. So yeah, I'm going to lean towards that. Get those 3 transfers. Have next week to maybe rebalance for a little bit. And if I save it again next week because I don't have to make a transfer, I have 4 transfers for the international break, which is crazy. So I'm in a goodish position. I don't actually have to make these drastic changes, which is something I need to remind myself because I get very emotional when it comes to losing.
That's what I was thinking about. It's like you end up playing FPL against yourself and becoming your own worst enemy.
Exactly.
Because you put the effort in, you think 3 moves ahead, and you plan your life out, and then things don't go according to plan week 1 of 3, and you go, okay, I'm making a new 3-week plan. And you completely go against your previous 3-week plan without giving it time to actually grow. Like, we got to step back at some point, like you did last week, and go, yes, Saka's injured, but I have a bench for a reason. And
yeah, Havertz on my bench. So what? If Saka didn't play, Havertz play. He didn't score, but still, like, that's the point.
And it also depends where you are, because for me, you were ahead. So for you, sitting pretty is fine. For me, I'm trying to catch you. So I was hoping by making a move like Saka to Foden, if Foden scores and Haaland blanks, then I get to gain on you. It didn't work out that way. But if it did, then I would have been a mastermind.
You still rose a little bit, not by much for me, but you're still climbing that ladder. So it's not the end of the world. And just a quick update on ranks, because I had a comment on one of the shorts. I can't remember your name, but I'll pin it. But I'm currently sitting at 12,000 overall. Dropped a bit from the last 2 weeks, but still not a bad place to be in at all, considering it's still 10 weeks into the season. So I don't mind because I'm only dropping by a couple hundred places at this point, which means that whatever I'm doing is kind of clicking with what everyone else at the top is doing. So I'm not too upset about red arrows as much as it's like normally you're dropping by 20, 50, 30, like 20, 30, 40.
A million for the rest of us.
2 million. Anyway, but yeah,
I am torn personally because half of me is like, come on, Nate, you can do this, climb the ladder. And the other half of me is like, screw this guy, man. Screw this guy, man. Can I not just climb ahead of him once? Anyways, Nate, the big choice for this week with captain choices. Are we leaning towards Haaland, or do you have some backup choices that people should be considering, especially if they're moving away from Haaland?
I have some ideas, but definitely Haaland, because I'm also going to decide to stick with Haaland by doing nothing. So I might as well captain the Oak. I mean, why not? And I'm pretty sure he's going to be the majority voted captain this week, considering they are playing against Bournemouth. Again, shaky at the back, don't really keep clean sheets. Not expecting a haul, but I expect a goal. And if he blanks, it just feeds into our theory to maybe move towards some budget forwards. However, some outside choices are Palmer obviously isn't playing in cup competitions for Chelsea, meaning he's getting fully rested for weekend games. He's playing against United. It is away, so it is a difficult fixture.
He
However,
did score a hat-trick last time.
exactly. And Ten Hag just got sacked. Annoying, because I would have loved to beat Ten Hag and be the reason he got sacked. But nevertheless, you fire your manager and you come back and win 5-2. So anything could happen. But Palmer's a shout. Palmer's an outside shout.
And I would say a third captain choice is going to be Salah. Like, we cannot keep denying that this guy is a fantasy consistent, ever-present king, god of Egypt.
The winged dragon of Salah.
Yeah. He just constantly just is there.
He just pops up.
And
even if he's playing cuck.
He has been playing cuck. He's played cuck since 2 international breaks. He's been rubbish. Okay, just for those out there, cuck means like poo.
Crap. Yeah, pretty much crap. Yeah, and then I mean scores against, like you said, Arsenal, gets max bonus points because nepotism, and then scores and assists Chelsea, blanks Palace, scores against Wolves, assists against Bournemouth, blanks Forest, scores against United, scores against Brentford, scores against Ipswich. So it's like his pedigree, man. We've said it. Like even if he's playing crap, it's not. He's worth the points. He's worth the points.
Yeah, and Liverpool look like in a good position to maintain their lead going into the international break. So Salah's the third captain choice. And the outside choice, if you had captain Mbuemo over the last 4 weeks, you probably would have climbed way up there. Yeah. 8 points, 9 points, one blank of 2 points, but then 15-point haul. Overall, if you had captain Mbuemo over Haaland for the last 4 weeks, you would be sitting pretty.
100%. Yeah.
So if you want to take that gamble and go with leave your captain on Mbuemo and see what happens for the rest of the season, be our guest. And with Wisa back, I thought that would make Mbuemo look worse, but actually made him better.
It looks like he just needed a warm up to Wisa coming back, and now he's just owning again.
He found his space, and he found his connection with him. But I think that's all we have time for, Nate.
There we go. Very succinct, very to the point, very direct, very informative podcast. We hope you guys enjoyed that. Leave a like, comment down below on what your plans are for this coming game week. I'd like to know. I'm sure Mike would too. And tell us what you think. If Mike's plan to move to Salah is a good one, is Nate's plan to bank a mini wildcard for the international break a good one? Sounds like it, but let us know. And other than that, good luck for Game Week 10, and may the points be ever in your favor.
Yeah, and happy Halloween, everyone.
There we go. We'll see you next week.